Black Business School. And I want to say welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com, where we cover Black financial news and commentary, or just a Black perspective, because we're globally Black. We're not just Black in the United States, we're Black all around the world. And so what I wanted to do today was give you guys a quick overview in terms of what's happening on the stock market and why, and whether or not you should or should not be concerned about what you're seeing. Now, first of all, I want to say this. If you are an investor, you probably can do the happy dance right now, because today was a good day to be a stock investor. A lot of money was made. The Dow is really recovering very quickly. It's rising rapidly. Now, is that trend going to continue? Nobody knows. But the passage of the stimulus bill by the federal government was a very, very big deal, a very big deal. And so anyway, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. And if you haven't subscribed to theblackfinancialchannel.com, make sure you subscribe, theblackfinancialchannel.com. Follow us on Instagram also. So effectively, what you're seeing here with the market moving the way that it's moving is you're seeing something that has confused a lot of people. I had somebody that came when I was talking to Dr. Claude Anderson earlier today. He came in and he said, "How is the stock market going up so fast when you've got all this bad news?" I don't know if you guys saw, but we had just an outrageously insane, ridiculous, frightening level of unemployment claims this week. I think they hit 3 million. 3 million people lost their jobs. God bless them. God bless you if you're in that category. And basically they were just kind of like, okay, this is obviously going to pummel the stock market. Well, the stock market is a funny place. The stock market just thinks in a different way. Those who participate in the stock market, they look at expectations, and they tend to have despite all the irrational behavior that can take place, there tends to be an exceedingly rational, logical way of kind of looking at what's going on. So sometimes you'll see a situation where, like today, where you expect the market to plummet because the unemployment rolls, not only were those numbers bad, 3 million, like the most in history. We've never, do you understand when I say never in the history of the United States ever had 3 million people apply for unemployment at the same time? So you're really talking about some stuff that hasn't happened. Some would say hasn't happened since the Great Depression, but it didn't even happen during the Great Depression. It didn't even happen during the Great Depression. So you're really talking about something that is just absolutely unbelievable in terms of scope and impact. But the other thing that's very interesting about it is that you had two things happening. One was you had the stimulus bill. The stimulus came through. Now, one thing that we know that leads us to believe that we're smarter than we were during the Great Depression. Although you always think you're smart until you're stupid. You always think you're smart until you're not smart anymore. So in fact, the biggest thing I learned as a professor is that you don't become intelligent until you realize how dumb you are. So I don't really know how smart I am. I only know how dumb I am and how little I actually know. So I say that to say that we think we're smarter than we were during the Great Depression. We learned a lot about how stimulus works, how fiscal policy works, how monetary policy works. And they really pushed hard in Congress and the Trump administration, all of them. You got to give them credit. Democrats, Republicans working together. They pushed really hard to protect their money. These are all a bunch of old fogies who were probably as scared as you when they were watching the value of their 401ks dropping to nothing, and they're about to retire in 2 years. So I figured they would be on the damn job, and they were. They were very proactive. The stimulus was ridiculous. They basically said, we'll do anything necessary to make it happen. I did a video yesterday. If you go to drboystv.com, you can check out the video I did yesterday explaining what you need to do to get your check. Everybody in here should get your check. Like Martin Luther King said, we come to get our check. Get your check. Figure out what you got to do to be in a position to get that check. And I believe if you're smart, maybe this is your chance to escape. Maybe that you use that check to go start a business with it, or invest at least, do something, So anyway, long story short, the other piece of information that explains the almost inexplicable rise in the market that happened today, I think it went up 1,300 points today, despite the really, really bad news. Historically bad news is not just the stimulus, but also the fact that this sort of behavior by the market is indicative of the end of a bear market. There's kind of a thing where, when everything's falling, they're not just worried about the fact that the asset values are falling. Everybody's kind of wondering, okay, how far are we going to fall? When's this going to end? When's this going to be over? And and so some would argue that the behavior of the market recently is indicative of the worst being over. Ironically, even the 3 million people applying for unemployment doesn't scare a lot of economic experts, because they're sort of like, yeah, but we have a pretty strong economy. We just intentionally stopped working for 3 weeks so that we could clear out this virus. But once the virus is gone, which assuming they can do that, then we're going to be back to normal. Now, from my research, what I'm finding is that a lot of it comes down to whether or not they're going to be able to supply these hospitals with what they need to make sure everybody stays safe. I've told you guys statistics from the CDC that I recited. And I know some people got mad. I mean, I have some people get real mad at me when I laid out statistics from the CDC, because they want you to be emotional. They want you to be irrational. They want you to be scared. They want you to be upset. I'm not upset. I'm not scared. I'm a black man. There's always 1,000 different ways we could die. So none of that stuff scares me. But the data kind of shows that still at this point, the virus is hard to get. It meaning that most people won't get it. And then when they do get it, most people are going to recover. And the ones that die, a vast majority of those people are over the age of 80 and have pre-existing conditions. So if the media wanted to be responsible and to do their part in serving, in the recovery of the economy, because everybody needs the economy to recover. I mean, everybody in here, if you need money for something, raise your hand. Everybody in here who needs money to pay a bill, raise your hand. Everybody in here who has the job that you need, raise your hand. Everybody in here that has a business that needs customers, raise your hand. Say yes in the chat if you need money for something. And I say that because we got a lot of people running around here talking about, well, I ain't no capitalist. Screw the capitalist. Capitalism is better. Okay, fine. I agree with you. We got reasons to argue that capitalism is a problem. Yeah, it can be. There's no question about that. But here's the problem. Your socialist ass, your communist ass talking about, capitalism's evil. Well, you're depending on a capitalist to pay your bills because you're probably going to go to work on Monday. And if that business can't get what it needs, if that business can't function, then you're going to be unemployed. So to me, if you real gangster about your socialism, then sit your broke ass home and don't go to work. See how long you survive without any money for food. See how long you survive without any money to feed your children. Right. So I'm just saying that we've got to stop being extremists on this and start having some common damn sense. Common sense says that, that we can temper capitalism. We can talk about the problems because the problems are real. Right. But we're not going to get to the point where we're trying to destroy all the businesses. Like, and you got black folks out here that do that stuff, too. It's ridiculous. It drives me crazy, but I don't let it drive me crazy because stupid people don't only bother me so much. But, but it's like you really want to attack every black business that you see. He's a dirty capitalist. Jay Morrison built that Tulsa fund. He ain't nothing but a dirty capitalist, y'all. We need to destroy him. So and the screwed up thing about it is they'll destroy things, but they don't build anything in its place. They'll destroy jobs, but they can't create a damn job for anybody, right? And black folks need income. Black people need jobs. People need the ability to pay their bills. So that's my thinking on it, is that when we talk about getting the economy going, it's not a discussion that has to say, oh, we're going to trade human life, for capitalism. No, it's saying that, it's like if you live in let's say you live in a neighborhood where one person gets shot every 3 days. And somebody says, well, to really stay safe, you should stay in the house and never go outside, because if you go outside, you could be the person that gets shot. Yeah, but at some point you're going to be like, there are people in the neighborhood that get shot. No doubt about that. And we got to stop that crime. But most people in the neighborhood don't get shot. Most people in the neighborhood are fine. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and take my chances, roll the dice. And every day the media is going to scare the hell out of me by telling me about somebody who got killed that day. But 99 times out of 100, 999 times out of 1,000, it won't be me. So with the coronavirus, I think that there's a difference between acknowledging it, protecting yourself, washing your hands, social distancing, following the rules, quarantine, all that, versus thinking that we can, live in this state of complete shutdown forever. Because 3 million unemployment applications can easily grow into 5 million, 10 million. I mean, why don't we just stay home forever? Why don't we never have an economy? And why don't we all just live in poverty? Would that make you happy? Well, no, it would make me happy. And I'll tell you what, you talk about a death toll. Oh, it get 100% real when you get about 50 million people out here that ain't had a paycheck in a month. Oh, that's when you're going to start seeing the death toll rise, right? That's when you're going to start seeing problems. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. I want to just mention real quick in terms of what's going on with the market. So basically, the reason that you saw the market surge, despite this really crazy negative information that came out, yesterday about unemployment numbers, not just being high, but they were higher than the expectation, which is a really scary thing. Conventional wisdom is, I'm reading here, conventional wisdom is that bear markets are 20% drops from 52-week highs, and when all the selling has been exhausted, when people just sell everything that they're going to sell, when all the margin calls are done, and you have to do what you do, all the selling you need to do, and you start getting to the point where you're either holding or buying, prices tend to come up. It says here that there likely will be economic data reports ahead that are worse than anything the U.S. has ever seen, but they could change course quickly. So what's, I think, driving a lot of the market behavior now is the fact that people don't see this as a serious long-term problem. People see this as a temporary significant issue, right? So it's like the difference between being super sick to the point where you're slowly dying of, some deadly disease, cancer or HIV or something, versus, maybe you just lay on the ground and play dead, right? Right now, the economy isn't dead. It's just playing dead because all the productive assets have been shut down. All the people that do the work have been told to stay home. All the consumers who normally spend have been told not to spend. All the businesses that are typically open can't be open. So the economy has shut down or shifted. A lot of the revenue that used to be hand to hand is now digital. So some companies are doing really well. Amazon's doing really well. They're hiring, actually. They hired 100,000 people. Walmart's doing really well. Blizzard, Activision is doing really, really well. Zoom, my God, Zoom stock shot up as if they were in the middle of a boom. It was the craziest thing. I bought Zoom because I like Zoom and I just love the company, and I owned shares for a while. And then I bought some more when all this first started, and that sucker just took off like nobody's business. So the economy isn't completely dead, but a lot of it's plain dead, and some of it's shifted. And what people are trying to figure out now is, what are these fundamental shifts going to look like? Which companies are going to just disappear because they're now going to become obsolete, because we do not live. The post-coronavirus world is not going to be the same as the pre-coronavirus world, on an aggregate level or individual level. For example, some of y'all who had 3 weeks at home with your kids or whatever and haven't had to go to work are going to just say, you know what? I don't want to go back to work. It's like I had a friend who told me that when she was little, her father and her mother had a rocky marriage, and somebody in her family died. And so she went home to the funeral of it was her grandma. She went home to her grandmother's funeral. And when she was there, she's seen all the people she hadn't seen for years and having all these moments of self-reflection. And she just hit her husband up and said, I'm not coming home. I'm not coming back. And she's been divorced for the last 30 years. So a lot of times these heavy moments are very transformative. They're very transformative. And I think a lot of you have probably had some sort of revelation about yourself or about your life during this quarantine. I actually like the quarantine. If it wasn't for the economic damage, I actually think it's been a really great thing, because I think all of us have changed a little bit, and so I encourage you to dig into that, learn who you are. Figure out how you want to move forward, how you want to adjust, how you want to reinvent yourself as a mother, as a dad, as a business owner, as a human being. In fact, I think Black folks, I'm really talking to Black folks about sort of saying, okay, you got this stimulus check coming. You're going to go back to work, life can go back to usual. But what are you going to change after this is over with? Maybe you take the stimulus check and you say, I'm going to put this toward figuring out how to start a business. Or maybe I'm just going to become a stock market investor and do that consistently, or whatever it is. Or maybe I'm going to, spend more time with my kids or reignite things with my wife, right? Figure out who you are. Figure out, after this meditation time, thank you, Broadcasting the Real, I agree with you. After this meditation time, how you're going to be better. Because I'm gonna tell you, I'm a big meditator. I meditate every day, several times a day. That's why I'm alone. That's why I'm a little bit of an introvert, because I want to find out who I am. I like to stay centered. So I spend a lot of time alone. I spend a lot of time in meditation, and I figure out so much about myself and about life and about the world that I never would figure out if I was being pulled from thing to thing. So get smarter in this situation. You can do it. All right, guys. So I'm about to bounce out of here. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget, if you want to learn what stocks I'm buying and all this other stuff and why and everything else, as well as how the stock market works, we have a great stock market investing program. You can try the first 30 days for $1. So feel free to go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com, THE. That's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. Also, don't forget, we have Black Movie Night coming up on April 2nd. We're building a Black Hollywood. The next movie we're going to screen, the next Black movie, is going to be Raising a Black Scholar by Tierra KJ Williams. She's the director. And we're going to watch the film and then have a discussion about homeschooling and how parents, millions and millions and millions of parents just like you in our community, are taking their children out of these racist schools and doing it themselves. And they're doing it together. And I believe from the core of my heart that the best person to educate a Black child is a Black person, a Black parent. So you don't have to educate your children on your own completely, but maybe you want to do partial homeschooling, where maybe your kids go to school every day, but when you bring them home, you have a curriculum. You can do it. Don't be scared, and you got to believe in yourself. That's really important. So when am I going to go live again? I don't know. I'm going to go in here and take a nap right now. So you guys have a great day, and I love you. And thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.